Guys, in this video, I'm going to share with you 10 rarely known facts about programming. Let's dive straight into it. So the first fact that you might not know about is how the term bug came to be. It actually came about due to the fact that an actual moth was found inside the hardware of a computer at Harvard University. So the team had to remove the moth, essentially debugging the computer. Now, the second fact, the oldest programming language that is still in use. COBOL is a language created in 1959 and is still used today, especially in banking and government systems. So this is one of the oldest programming languages. And over 80% of in-person transactions still use COBOL. Then the third fact is programming is creative. So the first algorithm intended for execution by a machine was written by Ada Lovelace in the mid-1800s. She described the process as poetical science. Basically, this fact is emphasizing the fact that programming is a creative process, like you create something new in this field. Then white space is a programming language. So this is another cool fact about programming. Although we have so many programming languages, there is a language called white space. So white space is an esoteric language that only uses spaces, tabs and line breaks as syntax. So visible characters in the code are ignored, just like comments in the other languages are ignored. Then another fact, the famous beginner's program Hello World, popularized by the book The C Programming Language, is often the first code written by beginners. So it has become a tradition in programming education. Next fact about programming is reading versus writing code. So on average, developers spend about 70% of their time reading code rather than writing it. So understanding existing code is crucial for maintaining and expanding software projects. So this fact is emphasizing that the majority of the time of a developer is spent over reading the code that is written by other developers. Next fact, punch cards. Programming on a typewriter. Early programmers used paper punch cards to write code. These cards were then fed into computers. A single mistake on one card could mean redoing the entire program. So in the early times, programming was actually done on paper punch cards, and then these punch cards were to be fed to the computers. The next fact is open source movement. The concept of open source software was inspired by the collaborative nature of scientific research. So before, there was only closed source softwares, and then came about this open source movement. So this is actually the basic concept behind open source movement, that the software's source code is made available for anyone to modify and distribute. Linux is an open source operating system, and on GitHub we can share open source code. So these are the prime examples of its impact. Another cool fact about programming, DNA computing. It's an emerging branch of unconventional computing which uses DNA, biochemistry and molecular biology hardware instead of the traditional electronic computing. So in this case, instead of the electronic components, the scientists are trying to use the organic molecules like DNA as a hardware. So this is called DNA computing, and it's an emerging field. So researchers have been exploring DNA as a medium for computing, using biological molecules to perform calculations. It's a futuristic technology, and in the future it might become viable. This will actually revolutionize the way we think about data storage and processing, and it can vastly increase data storage and processing power. Now let's move to the next slide. The impact of Y2K. So the Y2K, it means year 2000. The Y2K bug was a significant event where the computer systems that recorded years with 2 digits like 99 for 1999 were feared to fail at the year 2000. So actually the code that was written before 2000, it was actually writing the years in 2 digits format, like 1999 was written as 99 only. So when the year 2000 came, there was actually a panic in the IT community that this code might fail, and it did happen. It failed. So it led to global efforts to update and fix code, costing billions of dollars. So this is a famous Y2K bug that happened around the year 2000. So these were some of the cool facts related to programming.